Here we are, another Friday Night Live, March 17th, 2023. And another wonderful rainy day in the Greater Teal, as spring is moving closer and closer to the now space. Wonderful times ahead. See all the life, everything coming back to life, all the beautiful wild herbs and plants and trees, and just a beautiful time. You see all the birds singing again. It's just awesome. Being going through the experiences of the season changes. It's truly beautiful times. Much nicer spring and summer, and fall is pretty nice than winter. Winter is nice, but if it was only for a few weeks, it would be okay. But it just drags on a little bit on the long side up here, and I'm sure there's places around the world that are much longer than what we have. Like the South Pole and North Pole, Antarctica, and Greenland, and Alaska, and where you got, was that place in Russia there where they have those Aboriginals living, what was it called again? Slipping my mind, but yeah, we enjoy every moment, no matter what nature brings us. I prefer the warm weather, but people are living in the hot climates and tropical, and they complain it's too hot. So there's always something to complain about, right? Instead of just enjoying the moment exactly the way it is and taking it all in and allowing that process to unfold in our experience. It's beautiful, beautiful times. We can embrace it and enjoy with each and every one of us, our acquaintances and family and friends and partners and so on and so forth, co-workers. Enjoy the moments, just like when we are training ourselves in the fasting state. It's especially when we're in the fasting state as a newbie, we haven't been exposed to the fasting state. Then we have something new to experience, and the unknowing and the not knowing is a fearful place for many, because of all the things that have been ingrained in our teaching. Every little ache and pain, go see your doctor, take a pill. Doesn't matter what you eat. You can eat anything you want. It has nothing to do with your health. And all this nonsense that has been ingrained in us, and take this thing in your, and you'll be fine. And it'll solve all the problems. Go do this treatment and that treatment. Take this vitamin, mineral, take this med. All nonsense. Nothing to do with the operations of the universe and nature. And how do we know that? Well, just look at how nature works. They don't use any of these things. Nature churns and has been churning its wheel for thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions and billions of years. How do we know? There's illusion of time, but there's the process of cycles within this illusion of time. There's cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles that keep things flowing within the illusion of time. And within these cycles is how we experience and learn and can make changes. And this is what the fasting lifestyle, less is more, through the art of subtraction. This is what it reveals to each and every one of us through our experiences. It reveals the answers we're looking for, because we're not going to find anything out there. It's an illusion to go trying to look for our own answers out there. When we go within and we connect with the Great One, the Divine Great One, we are going to be in a whole different element within ourselves. And we're going to experience things that we thought are just impossible, which when we know without doubt anymore that all is possible in the limitless realms of PLAF, we like to say, plasma love always flowing, that limitless flow of the divine love. We can enter that space and just be present in the now time, now space to watch how everything is possible. We've seen it so many times. It's not a mystery anymore. It's just a choice that we make to either go down the path of a fasting spiritual life and with total faith and trust and allow that process, or have the fear conquer our belief in our faith with all the man-made nonsense, all the man-made theories that will steer us in the outward spiral of confusion every time. Playing with chemistry, spiral out to confusion. Playing with theory, spiral out to confusion. Chemistry is one of the theories. So moving away from nature, spiral out to confusion. These are choices that we make, and it is what it is. Believing in the nutrition, believing in the calories, believing in the you need so many minerals and vitamins and amino acids and fats. And who made up all this stuff? How did they come up with this stuff? By looking in, their microscopes in this little space of existence, when there's the vastness of the universe, which is ever expanding in all directions, inwards and outwards. How can they come up with these things by just looking at a little speck? They come up with their theories. Yeah, they see things happening and changing and moving, and they come up with all these theories that they believe they're correct. And when we go into the fasting spiritual lifestyle, we see how all this stuff is just nonsense, because we go into that nothingness, the art of subtraction, where we just let go and we purge and we watch things correct themselves all the time. And if it's time to jump the fence, leave the physicality, because we're finished with our existence here, we're finished with our experience here, we're finished with whatever we came for, we will leave. So, we're going to go sometimes. If we're going to be in fear and believe that we're going to resist and not make it happen, that, going into the realm of death with the physical body, and we're living another illusion. And it's another trap. This immortality stuff, I honestly believe it's a trap. The more I go into the fasting realm, the more I believe it's a trap, because that vastness of the limitless realms is beyond explanation and beauties. And why would we want to stay in this realm when we can continue experiencing all that vastness of limitlessness? It's a trap. I believe it's a trap. It's a trap of that master of deception, which captured a segment of, not captured, stole a segment of creation and made it its own, laid claim to it, made it its own, like 666, laid claim to 666. How can it lay claim to something it didn't even create? It just lays claim to it. It's all lies. 666, 3 times 6, 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is divine. It's just an illusion to steer us always in the wrong direction. All these, what a place to be in this time and space. We're in a great time of learning for mankind as we see what's been happening the last 3 years. We are in for a big learning experience. Let's see which way mankind takes. Let's see which way we go. Are we going to move into the realm of peace, balance, correct conduct or not? We will find out within the next several weeks, months, and years. We will find out where we're going. It's hard to keep faith in mankind with everything that's happening, but there's always the beauty. So we concentrate on the beauty, and we keep an eye on everything that this evil energy, whatever we want to call it, is doing. We need to keep our eye on it so we can mirror it back to itself, because it's an illusion. So it creates an illusion and we mirror it back to itself, and it self-destructs, because that energy can only self-destruct. It has no other way to expand. It's always going to self-destruct. Chaos doesn't bring order. That's their motto, order through chaos, and it's absolute a lie. It only brings chaos, brings more chaos and disorder and imbalance. So we put the mirror on it to itself, and it self-destructs because it can't be correct in doing in not aligning itself with higher order plan, higher order cycles, higher order laws, divine. These are all divine laws. If it's not in line with that, it's going to go on the road of self-destruction. Just a matter of illusion of time. It's just a matter of us learning what we need to learn out of this chaos. And fasting spiritual lifestyle brings clarity to everything that's going on. It tries to take away our focus. As I said, we look, we take a peek at what's happening, but we don't focus on it. Focus is always on the divine creator, divine laws, nature, which is all included in that. That the principles of the works of the universe, we want to be in the realm of correctness in all times. In this realm, I don't believe it's possible, and not at this time yet, because of all the corruptness energies that are continuously influenced in each and every one of us, whether we're seeing it directly or not. That those fields of that negativity, of that imbalance, is all around us all the time. All the time, even if we're in the middle of a beautiful jungle, nowhere near anybody, that energy is cycling the whole planet continuously, even in those places. And if you go and do soil analysis, and even in those remote places, you're going to find man-made concoctions, chemicals, residues. That's how destructive mankind has been to this wonderful, beautiful Mother Earth for especially the last 50 to 100 plus years. When the chemical industry started, I think over 100 years ago. And that's when we really started giving Mother Nature a hard time, when we started corrupting nature through synthesizing and extractions of chemistry, isolating, creating things that you'll never find in nature on their own. This is when we started spiraling out more and more to confusion. And today we have the highest level of imbalance and sickness and diseases probably ever in the history of this planet. You know, if there was ever a time that this planet was as populated as it is now, we don't really know. We don't believe there was. Through our ecological, I can't even say the word heck, through the sciences. I don't believe that it could have been. A lot of stuff could be buried and buried and buried over and over again. Mother Earth always takes care of itself. You know, if you look at Pompeii, how one volcano blast buried that whole area, and you know, just pretty amazing how Mother Earth works. And you know, continuously discovering things. But I think we may be at the time and space where we are the most populated by mankind on this planet, and the most destructive. Maybe it was time that we were more destructive. You know, we heard the stories of Atlantis and how, you know, Atlantis sank, and they did it through what? Technology. Very, very advanced technology. So does technology lead us to advanced technologies that lead us to the correct direction? It never has. Never has. And everybody's bought it, hook, line, and sinker, that technology is going to save us. We're being sucked in, the illusion. The Luciferic intellect sucks us in all the time with these illusions that we're going to fix everything through technology. You know, whereas if we look at all the Aboriginals on all the different continents, they lived for tens of thousands of years in perfect, beautiful harmony. Perfect, beautiful harmony for tens of thousands of years with their systems. Simple, basic systems that respected nature. They took care, and they were caregivers of nature. They did not pillage Mother Earth. All the different Aboriginal cultures and all the different continents. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. They weren't perfect, but they lived that way, and for tens of thousands of years. They never had any real advancements. They kept their system because they knew it worked. And they were able to live beautiful lives. Did they have to go to work from 8 hours a day? No. They had their enjoyment of life, and they did the things necessary to be able to sustain themselves. And they had, you know, things they needed to do within the seasons and so on and so forth, in which within every day they had certain things they needed to do. And there was times of feasting and times of famine. That was part of their existence. So now we want everything at the snap of a finger. We want to be healed right now. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. Give me that pill. Give me that treatment. I want to be healed. I don't want to do any work. Are you joking? I have to work to heal? Come on. You know, with all the technology we have, these are the questions that the conversations people have with themselves in their subconscious mind, their conscious mind, and is why they we continuously see mankind going down to more imbalance, more disease, more sickness, and seeing that going on to younger and younger and younger and younger generations. Whereas now we're seeing unheard of diseases in the youngest of youngest, like babies being born with crazy sicknesses and man-made diseases that never existed in those age ranges before. So the choice is always yours, right? We always make that choice for ourselves. Which way do we want to go? Do we want to fall into that trap of the Luciferic intellect of high technology and that they have all the solutions through all that crap? You know, the more we move down that road, the more we know we're on the we are getting closer to destruction of ourselves and the planet. That's the way I look at it. I may be wrong. We don't have all the answers, but if we look at history, we know from history that we learn that we never learned from what we learned, because we repeat the same things over and over, and we always self-destruct ourselves over and over with the same things that happened in the past. It's just we repeat the cycles. Are we able to break free from this? Absolutely, we have a choice, but there's a collectiveness, and might is right. You know, in especially in these modern times, you know, might is right. We see might is right in nature because the animal kingdom runs on the emotions of mankind, as far as I understand it. Nature runs on the emotions of mankind, and as long as mankind is, well, as long as we're thieves, liars, cheats, murderers, rapists, we're going to see the reflections of ourselves in nature. And animals are going to eat each other and steal from each other, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, if we look at the last several years, we see amazing, wonderful things what animals are doing in nature and with people and saving people and so on and so forth and helping each other. It's like, you know, it's happening more and more because there has to be that to show us that the divine, that plasma love is always flowing. We just need to tap into it. It's always there. It's always around us. It's always showing this presence. We just have to pay attention to it and choose to move in that direction. That's all we have to do. When we choose anything but that, no, we're going to end up where we are now, what we witnessed in the last 3 years. We're at 3-year mark this month, I believe, with all this caca that's been happening. So, what are we going to do as mankind? That's the question we can only ask ourselves. And we can only find the answers within ourselves. Right? No, we're not going to find our answers out there. It's just not going to happen. The answers are within. So embrace the limitless realms. Once we're into that space, once we're into that experience, once we're in the natural fasting state, because it is the most natural state, the true most natural state is the fasting state. And as far as my understanding is, there's no other state that's as true as the fasting state. And when we're in the fasting state, in a highly obstructed physical, mental, and emotional body, that's not the true fasting state. It takes time to get into that natural fasting true state. It takes time to purge and clean out all those obstructions so that we can have clarity. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes trust. It takes faith. And most people don't have that. You know, this is what we have all shown each other. We do not have that. And we see, you know, people going off left, right, and going cuckoo and all that stuff, and losing control of their emotions. Why? Because of everything we've just talked about, we're not focused on the spiritual fasting lifestyle. We're everything but, and we will scatter to all the different directions. May God help us when people believe that we still need to have supplements, we still need to have minerals, we still need to have vitamins, we still need to have stimulants, we still need to have meds, we still need to have all this stuff, all external addition things that we believe we need. We need to eat and all this stuff. When we see the evidence within the atom and the sunshine, we see the evidence, right? And in the animal kingdom, we see the evidence. Animals hibernating for many, many months and years. Spiders going for more than 2 years without food. And bears hibernating for 6, 7 months of the year. And we see the evidence all around us, but we lack our trust and faith in the divine creator. And that's why we end up in a chaos, confused situation with lack of trust, lack of faith, because we bought into the Luciferic intellect. We worship mammon instead of worshiping the divine creator. And we end up where we with what we deserve. Diets lead us to death. All diets, the more obstructive ones, will bring us to more pain, misery, and suffering sooner, and death, than the less obstructive ones. And the less we eat, the less pain and suffering, the more we are going to be able to experience the beauty and the more quality of life, which is the most important, and for the most part, a longer life. But that's not a guarantee. But it's what do you want to say? It's a fact for the most part, unless the soul has to part its ways. And, with all the animal studies and stuff on fasting and so on, they always live longer. For the most part, it doesn't happen in every single case because we don't know the soul experience. Each one of us has to find our own soul experience by going within. And that's enough for me. If there's anybody has any questions, now's a good time. Because that's the only time we have. And if not, we can call it a night, and we'll see you on the back on the page, back on the next call. Private consultations for anybody who wants that. If anybody wants to get their eyes read, it's good to have a reading done, once every few years, just to see what's happening. If you're living and loving it, if you're not making any changes in your lifestyle, don't bother. I mean, commitment means changing your lifestyle on an ongoing basis. If we're going to continue on the same path, we're going to continue to get what we've always gotten. If you make changes, there's going to be changes. So it's nice to see for some people that they see that all their hard work and commitment is paying off. Slowly but surely, we're going to start seeing changes happening within 6 months, within a year. Some people it happens sooner, some people it takes longer, because it all depends on many, many things, infinite variations and things, ancestral lineage, or environment where we live, or environments of people that are surrounding us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on and on. and we don't have control over everything, but some people believe they can control everything. I haven't seen it. A few masters of the past, like Christ, was able to master the elements and so on and so forth to create many miracles. Alrighty, no questions. Keep the plasma love always flowing. That's it for now. Ciao.